Okay guys, welcome to this week's episode of Heavy Metal Tones with me, your heavy metal podcast host, Tony Evans. It's a bit of a two-part episode this week, not as long as they normally are. To be truthful with you listeners, I'm not feeling that great today. Not physically, just mentally a little bit fatigued. It's that time of year. It's been a bit of a tough one with my father and so on. Not that I need to worry about that. I hope you don't. But I got some sad news a few days ago. You would have seen on my Facebook page had you gone over there. If you've just heard the opening guitar phrases to the show that you're all well aware of. If you're new to it, the theme music was written by Josip of PurEnvy, and he helped me right at the beginning of this journey of mine on how to use the DAW, which is the digital audio interface. He sort of taught me how to tweak my sound levels, how to record my vocals in stereo and duplicate them instead of just being in one audio track, which is, little things that you wouldn't know unless you were sort of a dedicated musician or really good at, in a recording studio. And I consider him one of a friend of mine, and a really decent guy. And he was in a band called PurEnvy he was in a band called PurEnvy from Newcastle, up the coast here past Sydney. Those that don't know who live overseas, Newcastle, not Newcastle in England, Waiman, no, Newcastle, the other Newcastle, the sunny one near the sea, over here in Australia. Now, they've been travelling around for some time as a band. If you don't know them, shame on you personally, but they play a kind of just kind of thrash that is so typically Australian, but also at the same time you can hear all the heavy influences of Slayer and Megadeth and all of those sort of history and groundbreaking bands. I first came across them supporting Aces High, the Australian Iron Maiden tribute band, which is playing this Saturday at the Basement. Please do come along if you're here. That's in Canberra. And at the I think it was the German club. It was the German club here, and I was absolutely blown away by their just the quality of their musicianship live. The way they commanded the stage, the whole band, all of them, they're all just top-notch guys. And they only released 2 albums. Okay, I'm doing this without notes, guys, because I've just haven't had the energy to sit down and do my normal research, because this is just going to be off the top of my head. So if I get anything wrong, I'm absolutely apologise for that. But anyways, they've produced 2 albums and one single. They are 2013's As a Light Fades and 2018's Redemption, and they had a single called Sweet Poison, which came out last year. They were intentionally going to record several singles and not release them as an album because, sadly, as I've talked about before on this show, the music industry is in such a shitty state, small independent bands, that they don't make enough money to produce an album. It's better to produce singles, release say 6 or 7 of them, and you get more of an impact, more download for your dollar, unless you're Taylor Swift, or of course, then do what you want. But unfortunately, bands like PurEnvy, who, to be brutally frank, that are worth a million Taylor Swifts out there. I mean, they've got written. I've got them. I just looked them up there, and one of they're described as melodic thrash. I think that's probably right. There's a lot of melody in their music. There's a lot of technicality. Both all members of the band, both Adam Kiefel and Josip, I'm going to really butcher your name, Josip. You know I don't mean any harm with this. By this Malok. They're both very gifted guitarists. They trade their solos really, really well live. There's not a lot of frippery. You don't get a lot of running around and being, high octane. They just stand there and they just power into the music. And honestly, when you're standing in front of them, the feeling you get from their music is so intense. It surprises me so much that they were never as big as they could be, and sadly now they've disbanded as of earlier in the week. That's November 2023 for the future listeners. You never know, they may get back together again. You never know. I only saw them a handful of times, sadly, because of COVID. But all the times I did see them, they absolutely blew my socks off. But I said the first time I saw them was in the German club, and it was like, it's a great stage, the German club. So it's a big, wide stage, no barriers, a little bit, maybe 2 feet, 3 feet off the ground, so you're sort of knee height to the stage if you're standing at the front, and it's very dramatic, very dramatic. The lighting and the stage presence there, and honestly, both Adam and Josip are just brilliant frontmen, but also Dave Lusum on bass. Now Dave is a geezer, right? He's my age. He's a dyed and award Marillion fan. He can't go far wrong. Loves his prog, and he's one of the most enjoyable bass players to see live, because he's not an effusive bass player. He's not doing a Jaco Pastorius. He's not playing some strange and weird and funky time signatures and oddness. He gets knuckles in, gets in the groove, but he's also dynamic. And he has his presence on stage, which, like the rest of them, are just brilliant. And again, I know I'm blowing smoke up them, but I genuinely mean this. It's quite sad for me. That's why I'm giving him praise. And then you've got Zach Swan on drums. Zach's the youngest member of the band, but man, he can smack the crap out of those drums, right? He's got a really, really open and free movement on the kit. He's dynamic, he's thunderous, he has nuance, and when people say, "Oh, how can thrash have nuance?" But if you haven't listened to my channel, this program before, then you have to understand that I genuinely believe it does have nuance. It has feel. It's not all just blistering speed. They write an absolute, cracker of songs. Now, the all of their music is available on any of the streaming platforms. Their website is still live. You can still go and buy product. I would hope you do so that at least they can make some money out of their hard-earned work. Because it's a real shame that people as talented as these group of men are, we're not getting recognition. Just is painful. Josip did a lovely acoustic piece during lockdown, and it really just it showed to me just quite how soulful and talented he is. Adam is exactly the same. Adam is more your balls to the wall. He's the anger, I feel, that drives the fuel of the aggression in the band. And I think that Josip, and I could be wrong here, Andy, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think Josip is more the soulful side, weirdly, if you can say that about thrash, right? I think you can. Just 1 second, bear with me. I'm just going to pull up their albums. Also, grab some merch. I regret I've only got 2 of their shirts. I really wish I'd gone and got more, and I'm going to probably pop in and get some more. But off the 2013 album, As the Light Fades, they're all crackers. In my opinion, all killer, no filler. A decent length of an album, was released on the 1st of March 2013, 43 minutes and 33 seconds long. It does not let you down. I'm going to say this, I'm not going to go for each track because I just want to really give you some highlights of what I feel is my favourites. I feel Damnation, Not the End, Prison Guard, and History are my favourites. But of course, the whole album, Bleeding Out, Damnation, As the Light Fades, Not the End, Spiral Dancer, History, Blow to Pieces, Prison Guard, Anything About Me, Divine. They're all great tracks. They've got, and you know what's really pretty amazing about this particular band is that the actual production value of both albums is really good. Often a band's first album, the production value is pretty poor, but you can genuinely see that these guys know their way around a studio. Now, I don't know the full ins and outs of the production of this album, and one day I'm going to get Josip on the podcast, because I know he doesn't mind a chat, and even may get Dave on. The production would be interesting to know how it went and where, any sort of ups and downs. But it's one of those albums that will disappear sadly now, because it just will. But if you ever come across it by accident, plug it in, because you will be really, really astounded. I would love to see this band hit their downloads go through the roof, guys. Or if you do one thing for me, nothing but else, but promise me this, that you, for me, and for Benji, who's also a huge fan of the band, if you could just play one of their albums all the way through on whatever platform you are, give them a couple of shekels, right? Go and buy a t-shirt, buy a patch, buy the CD. Do something. Give these guys something to say thank you, because this is my thank you to them, because they came about at a time when I was really low. I had pretty bad time the year before. I had a bad accident, I was changing careers, life was changing, kids were leaving home, all that sort of stuff, or COVID, or whatever you want to point your fingers at. But they really gave me something to knuckle into and to enjoy. And to be fair, again, writing the theme tune for this show of mine without any ask of money, without any he just said, yeah, I've got it for you, and he knocked it together in like an hour. It was just astounding. I mean, so gifted. I also play some beautiful, their guitars they have are beautiful. I do cover all of their guitars, particularly the black and white Flying V, yeah, anyway, that aside, and then come to the second album. Okay, the second album, Redemption, is where I saw them on that tour, the Redemption tour. And they make some really fun videos, by the way. Go and find them on YouTube. They have a real feel, a real Australian larrikin feel, real backyard heroes. Your mates down the pub who played in bands that you were always really proud of and wish you could do the same. You get that feeling with them. Yeah, it's alcohol fueled. Yeah, it's fast and it's fun, but that's just what it is, isn't it? Anyway, their second album, 5 years afterwards, was released on the 8th of June 2018. It's 49 minutes and 49 seconds long. It's called Redemption. It's got a brilliant artwork on the front. I have to say it's probably my favourite of the two artworks. It's really graphic. It's brightly coloured. It's I love the shirt. I don't wear it because I don't want to wear it out, to be fair. It's the track lineup: Deception, Hollow, Embodied by Dust, End of Days, Blood of the Innocent, March to Our Graves, Redemption, and Forsaken. Now, the tracks that jump out for me on this album, really hammer their type of music home, are March to Our Graves, Redemption, and Forsaken. Blood of the Innocent is also a real... It's almost proggy, and I don't think they'd like me to say that. I know that Dave wouldn't mind, but it almost has sort of proggy feel. There's certain elements where when they're trading solos and then they're crunching into that sort of thrashy, heavy, sort of down strumming, you know, palm muted stuff. And it's really sing along. It really takes you on a ride. Really hope that one day we get some more from them. I really do. And then they finished with their single Sweet Poison. The video for that, again, it was released on the 5th of August 2022. I remember it coming out. It's got, again, I love the artwork on the front of this cover, this single. This is my favourite of all the artwork. I wouldn't mind that on an t-shirt. If you're listening, guys, if you've got one, I'll have it in size medium, thanks. But it's Sweet Poison. It's actually it's 6 minutes and 42 seconds long. It's quite long for a single, but I think this was their pinnacle in the respect that I thought they were going to really go somewhere after this single. Sadly, things got in the way. They are hard-working guys. They all have lives to lead, and unfortunately, rock and roll doesn't make you millions unless the stars align, if you know what I mean. Can't all be Iron Maiden, can't all be Black Sabbath, can't all be Def Leppard, unfortunately. But anyway, that's PurEnvy. Love you to jump on their page, have a listen, give them a review, say hello to them, all around the world, guys, because I've got people listening all around the world to this podcast, all the way from Ghana to Zaire, from Africa to the Americas, from America, all through Europe, Russia, everywhere listens to this show. So why don't you jump on, have a listen, even if it's just the one song, even if it's just Sweet Poison, you don't want to give yourself a whole album, just give them some kudos, because lads, I just want to say bye-bye, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, bienvenue, buenas noches. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I really hope that we can continue to listen to your music, which we can. It's timeless, right? It's always there and forever. That we can continue to catch up, chat, and I hope that anything you do make in the future, that I can be in Benji and all the rest of us can be part of, because I think it's going to be a exciting time musically for you all. Something different, something exciting, maybe something unexpected. Who knows, eh? Anyway, bye for now. Thanks for everything, man. Thanks for it, guys, all of you. It's been a real pleasure and a real ride, and it's a really sad time for me that I have to say goodbye to one of my favourite bands. Anyway, ciao for now. When we come back on the other side of the show, I've got a few things I want to get off my chest, that sort of related. Anyway, thanks for listening. Do go and have a listen. As I said, I can't keep saying enough, but PurEnvy, it's easy to find. PurEnvy, capital E, capital P, capital Y. You'll find them. Anyway, ciao for now. See you on the other side now. Bye, guys. Welcome back, guys, to part 2. You might hear in my voice, I'm generally actually a bit low, as I've said at the beginning of the show, and I think some things have happened recently that have really sort of cemented in my mind. I was thinking about this over the last few days, and if you remember from last week's episode, I tell you I went and saw a band that were just the most awful, bloated, self-opinionated, annoying and idiots most unprofessional people I've ever come across in my life. Well, it stems from that. Now, I had a bit of an epiphany. I wiped myself off and carried on. No, I had an epiphany, and it was this. Now, the night before, on the Saturday night, I'd been to see Witch Skull at the Basement in Canberra, my second home, my favourite venue in all the world. And it was a brilliant lineup. There were 4 bands, all local, all different types. There was a like a Saints sort of Sydney punk, 70s punk sound, surfy punk sound, like the Celibate Rifles, all that kind of thing. You know, there was a hardcore band where you got like 12 songs in 8 minutes, which really, really struck a fantastic chord with me. I'm a big fan of hardcore, particularly like the Exploited and stuff like that. Really sort of kicked into my youth. I felt 17 again. And then there was that wonderful, wonderful Canberra band, In Memoriam, that played this fantastically technical melodic death metal that was just they looked like they were having fun. They looked polished. They looked every bit an international act. Really fantastic live. And then of course we got the headline of Witch Skull, the world's premier doom band, in my opinion. Canberra boys, men, they're good friends of mine and really nice guys, and they make outrageously good music, and they are brilliant live. And that cost me $26, 26 Australian dollars, which is about £14, 18 US. It's unbelievably crazy to me, and I'm going to get on my soapbox here. I'm on my horse. It's getting higher. That I can do that. And the bands can still make some money. I said to Mick and Nick, the owners, I said, man, $50 and we'd still pay that ticket price. Even 60. I don't get it, right? They said the band set those prices. It was just seemed crazy that I could pay that and have 7 hours I was there, and I had the fucking time of my life. I'm gonna swear, but I fucking loved it. You know, every minute the bands would come out. You chat to the guys. I was chatting to the merch guys. You know, the owners, the band friends of mine of the Basement. You know, local faces I know, chatting away, having a great time. You know, getting stuck in front, dead center, just getting whiplash. And great sound, just brilliant, right? Not one moment did I go, oh, I'll go home. I was like, when is this? I don't want this to finish, right? I didn't get home till almost 2 a.m. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Yet, contrastly, I paid over $100 for a ticket for Brian Jonestown Massacre on the Sunday at the ANU. The new ANU venue, the Australian University venue in Canberra, in the city there, and cold, stark, boring, middle of the road hipsters. These people, they just, I don't know. Look, maybe it's a cultural thing. Maybe it's the fact that he has sold a truckload of records. Anton, I don't know. But there was no sense of equality. The thing I love, I've said this before and I'll say it again, one of the things I love about the Basement, I love venues like the Basement, and I love the music that I listen to, is that the bands will come out and walk around and talk to you afterwards. You're not there. This is the punk thing. This is what the Pistols wanted. This is what the punk movement wanted. They wanted to be like everyone else, but just playing in a band. Now, I know that you might say that's a bit of a oxymoron, right? Is it oxymoron? Is that the right word? I don't know, not the right word, but it's a little bit of a dichotomy, being singing up there and being adored by lots of people, and then coming out and being one of the guys in the crowd. I don't think so. I think that's why that music is so grounded. I was saying to my lovely wife this morning over coffee, I said, you know what? I said, If Steve Harris was walking down the street and I bumped into him, I said, "Hey, Steve," he wouldn't blank me and walk away like I'm a superstar. He'd go, "How you going?" And he'd have a chat and he'd move on. Because he knows where the music he makes for people is not just for him. He knows that the music he makes becomes not his anymore. It becomes ours. And he's just a modulation unit, if you know what I mean, to get the music to us. It's like the needle the drug goes into, right? The way it gets into us. That's a bit stark way of saying it, but if you know what I mean, right? He's the conduit, I think it's the right word. And he knows that. And when he's sitting on his private jet in his big mansion, he knows. No one begrudges him that, because he knows that we want it, and he knows where it comes. And it's the same with all these bands. The same with like Witch Skull. It's the same with PurEnvy, as I said before. And so I've decided. I made a decision, and it will probably be my New Year's decision, the New Year's thing this year, that unless the band is really necessary to me, I'm not going to pay to see them. If unless they're in Canberra, unless the ticket price is under a certain amount, I'm just not going to do it. It's not being tight. It's not about not value for money. It's not about that. It's about the connection. I'm so disconnected with some of these acts at the moment that you can see why the punk movement happened. Why, I love prog, but they were so disconnected from their audience. And hard rock at the time, and big bands like Queen and Deep Purple, and they were so, and Led Zeppelin, they were disconnected from their fans, and I feel that's what's happening, and I don't want to be part of it anymore. I really want to connect, spiritually, emotionally, and if I'm going to hand over my hard-earned money, because I work bloody hard for my money that I earn, I'm going to part. I don't regret. I won't. I want to make sure that A, the band is getting majority of it. B, that they understand that we are the fan base, and that and there is this personal interaction. And C, that you're not, not getting ripped off. I mean, that's the same as getting value for money, but if you know what I mean, right? There's no sort of just 1, 2, 3, 4 and leave. Like a prime example of that for me was the last time I saw Alice Cooper. Literally no interaction whatsoever with the audience. Part and parcel of a great gig experience is eye contact with the musicians, chatting to you, not abusing, not you abusing them, but chatting to them. So banter, some bants as they call it now. The feeling that they can reach over the barrier and high five you. You're only inches away from them while they're playing, and you can feel almost part of the band. You can see the magic happening, and me as a guitar nerd, particularly, I enjoy that, seeing the magic happen, feeling the force of the drums on you. That's what I want. Now, I've bought tickets for Iron Maiden, of course I am, and I will see Iron Maiden in every venue I could possibly can. And I will see, obviously I'm getting tickets for Creator, another big band, but they're playing in a smaller venue, right? And I think since COVID, we've all rethought about that, haven't we? Like Stephen Wilson, for instance, one of my heroes, when he comes, yes, he'll play big venues, but he interacts. You feel that he's almost part of the audience, out of body experience, sitting there watching himself. He's really getting into the vibe. That sounds all hippie, I know, but I just think since that experience, it's really changed. I've got changed by it. Sadly, I have. At one time, I really liked the big band experience. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I saw Paul McCartney a few weeks ago, and you don't get any bigger than that, and it was wonderful. It was life affirming, if you want to use weird phrases like that. It really made me realise quite why music is such a part of my life, and why I do this podcast, and why I do my Facebook page and why I try to encourage everyone I know to find their inner music, whether it be heavy metal, maybe it be prog, maybe jazz, maybe it be pop, maybe funk, soul, rap, hip hop. I don't care. I encourage everyone to find their inner music. Now, you listen to this show, so you obviously listen to heavy rock and heavy metal, so you found your inner music. But I encourage everyone. In fact, it feels like it's almost sometimes I feel it's my calling in life to do it. I feel that that it's deeply personal, and it will help you heal. It helps you connect. It helps you coalesce your thoughts. It gives you direction. It gives you release. It gives you entertainment. It gives you a sense of wholeness, I think. And so when that is sort of taken away from you by that experience I had a couple of weeks ago with BJM, I know that the guy has a drug issue. I know that he's an alcoholic, and I know that he wasn't happy. And you know what? Had I paid $25 for that, I'd still be shitty cranky, right? But I wouldn't be as cranky, because for that one gig that I spent that money on, including cabs and dinner and drinks and so on, I could go to 7 or 8 acts at the Basement. And that really rankles me, you know, because those bands, and I say it again, those bands could charge $100, and I would be very happy to pay $100 to see Witch Skull. Absolutely no problem whatsoever. In fact, shut up and take my money. I said this to the guys at the venue. I reckon you have the ticket price, but pay more if you feel you want to. That's how they should do it. So yeah, to get the ticket is $25, but if you want to pay more, here's a pay more option. So if you feel that you want to pay the band $60 for that gig, pay them $60. It's your choice. I think that's a really good idea, because yeah, everyone might just think I'm just going to pay my standard fee. They're going to get my t-shirt money, they're going to get my beer money, they're going to get my record sales. But I think if you can add that little bit more, if you can afford to do so, and let's be honest, most of us can afford more than £18 quid or $19 or whatever the equivalent is for a gig. We can, because we can pay a lot more than that, and we do, don't we? I mean, I paid near on $300 a ticket for Paul McCartney, so we can do it, and we will do it. Maiden's costing me an arm and a leg in travel, on accommodation and so on, but who cares, because that we can do it. But I think these smaller acts need a little bit more. So let's start a campaign, I reckon. Let's do it. Let's say, if you're going to pay the ticket price, but if you can pay more to keep us going, pay more. And I reckon they would. I reckon you'd get at least 50% would go, you know what, I love this band, I'm going to pay $40 for this ticket. And the ticket price, and that's $15 more. And that goes purely not to the promoter, not to the venue, it's just straight into their pocket. You know, and if that band can walk away, like Witch Skull can walk away with an extra $500 or $600 in their pocket after a gig, let's be honest, they've all got mortgages, they've all got children, they've got lives to lead, they've got tours to promote, they've got venue gig equipment to buy, recording studio time, vinyl pressing, CD make it, you know, t-shirt, it's all there, right? It's all costs. So I think that I'm going to wrap up my moan, but I think it's a valid point. I think it's a very, very valid point. And so to say bye-bye this week, auf Wiedersehen. Thanks PurEnvy for everything. If you've listened again to the show and got to the second half, or if you've come straight in just the second half, bye PurEnvy, bye Andy, bye Josip, bye Dave, bye Zach. Thanks for everything. Thanks for trying. And above all, fucking thanks for trying. Thanks for giving it a bloody good go. Living the dream and trying hard. And really, that's all you can ask. You know, God, if I could look back on my life and think I have 2 albums and a single and T-shirts with my band name on it and patches and stubby holders, and I'm looking at my PurEnvy stubby holder now. For those that don't know what a stubby holder is in other countries, it's a thing that goes around your bottle of beer to keep your hand warm when the beer cold. It's a very Australian... it's an icon of Australia, really. I'd never seen them until I got to Australia. Coldie holders, they call them. Stubby holders, whatever you like to call them. But I've got mine. In fact, mine's wrapped around my bottle of record cleaner, so I can keep it in my music room. I might bring it out at Christmas and wrap it around a beer. Hey, why not? Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for understanding. I hope I've not dragged anyone down. I felt a bit down this week. It was quite difficult for me to sit down in front of the mic, in fact. But I got there. And, you know, the show must go on, as they say. The show must go on. Rock and roll, guys. I'm all right. Please don't worry about me. It's just these phases I go through with my dad's illness and being so far away. And then news like that with PurEnvy sort of hit me a little bit hard. And that gig the other weekend really stuck it to me as well. Anyway, it's just nice to know my friends and fans are listening. Fans. It's funny to say I've got fans, you know, but friends. And you know what? My little listener in Boardman in America that's always been there right from the beginning. I don't know who you are. Don't know your name. If you want to jump on to the web page, onto my Facebook page, private message me. I'd love to know your story. You've always been there. You've always listened. I always look for you. And you know, your foundation member, like all my friends that listen, like Benji, like John, like Matt. It's just nice that people want to use some of their precious time to hear me wobble on. Anyway, it's coming to that time of the day. I've got to go off now, and would you believe it? I've got to decorate my Christmas tree and get ready for the ho 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 period. And I've also got to record 7 10-minute episodes like I do every year for Christmas week. That's going to be fun. Actually, I think it's 5 episodes this year. Anyway, either way, that's going to be an interesting one, that one, because it takes a fair bit of effort, and it is always enjoyable when I do it. Anyway, bye for now. Keep it real. Remember what I said before. Download 1 album, 2 albums, and 1 single of PurEnvy. Give them a little bit of a spike to say goodbye, because they really are the heart and soul of rock and roll. Bye, guys.